Welcome to Mind Your Manners, our podcast for this evening. Dating. Dating throughout the ages of time. Or maybe not the ages, but those at least that we can relate to. It's going to be great to hear what everyone else has to say about this. We're going to talk about TV shows, movies, personal experiences, the internet, the apps, all encompassing. It's all about the love, or maybe the lack thereof tonight. Gonna be great to see all of you in the chat. Hey, that's a lot of these situations. That's exactly what it is. It's the lack thereof that drives people to either get on the game shows or get on the reality TV episodes.
So you're watching Mind Your Manners, podcast episode 7. You can see our first 6 episodes on YouTube. What did we do first? We did That Rona.
That Rona.
We did That Rona. We did Tiger King.
I am the Tiger King.
We did All Things Cannabis.
I want to get high.
That was number 3.
So high.
We did, what was that? Dumb People. Number 5 was we did an in-depth review basically of The Last Dance.
The Last Dance.
And then how many days ago? Like 2 or 3 days ago?
I think it was like 2, really. It wasn't that.
2 or 3 days ago we did, what did we do?
We did the
All
90s. Everything
and up
90s.
next is coming, we're going to do everything 80s. That's going to be our next podcast, everything 80s. But I grew up in the 80s, but I really want to do my research on the 80s one, so I didn't want to go next with the 80s. So, we got in an argument, not like a real argument, but we got in an argument about dating shows. And it got us on a whole fucking tangent. We went all the way back to the 70s talking about like the evolution of dating shows. That's not going to be the only thing we're talking about, but that's my main thing because that's where all my notes are.
That's what started it.
Yeah, that's basically where we started from. So I'm just inviting people to the chat while she does hosting duties. Shout out to Hectic in the chat.
What up? So yeah, like I'm just gonna start with where I know, like growing up.
Okay.
You know, like I guess let's talk about just like dating in general.
All right.
So
like what, first date? Your very first
or
date?
Or just even, you know what? Let's not even talk about dating. Let's talk about before the date.
When you had to hide your boners with your trapper keeper?
Luckily, I did not have to worry about hiding my boner in my trapper keeper. But I think what is relatable as a female is when your headlights are showing. Or your head beams, what do you guys call them?
Oh, yeah, when you...
I was going to be more vulgar, but you know.
When your boobs start popping.
Yeah, like, women are more concerned about, you go from, like, I guess, like, that under cami to, like, your first, like, trainer bra.
An under cami?
Yeah, it's like what girls use now as a sports bra.
Okay.
That was a lot of, like, first bras for a lot of people.
All right.
That did not happen to me. Like, one day, I was flat, like this, just straight up. And then the next thing, I had mountains. It was just one to the other, you know? And for me, it was more, again, like, I hope my nipples are not showing.
Oh.
God forbid your bra strap show. Now it's on trend for your bra strap to show. But, like...
I was like, where are they at? Pop the bra strap out. If it's on trend, you gotta be popping.
Like, you know, like your experience seeing male and female interaction is really what I was talking about in terms of, like, pre-dating. I wasn't necessarily talking about myself, but, like, my experiences seeing men and women interact is I grew up in a Latin family and my mom used to throw parties all the time.
Okay.
So, very eclectic, like, artsy, music-inspired people, and everyone was real casual around each other. Like, I never saw that, like, awkwardness. Like, people would dance and, like, you know, maybe your boyfriend would, like, take out your friend to dance.
Wait a second. My boyfriend didn't take no one anywhere.
Oh, yeah, your boyfriend was on lock? He had his boyfriend on lock and key. But, you know, like, I just saw it as, like, a very relaxed, like, not a big deal type of thing. I think I had, my mom says I had a boyfriend in like the first grade. The kid across the building liked me. And my mother likes to say, you know, that we grew up in a Puerto Rican neighborhood. I'm like, Mom, we grew up in an Italian and an Asian neighborhood. And she's like, well, I don't know. I knew 6 Puerto Ricans.
Yeah.
So to her, the neighborhood was Puerto Rican.
That's funny.
But, like, at least in the interactions of, like, seeing my mom as a single parent, like, it wasn't nothing serious. Like, I never saw her.
I never had to deal with that shit as a child. Later,
for a date.
Later, when I was an adult, my dad started dating his now wife. But as a kid, my parents were together till I was like 15.
Different experience. So, like, but how were your parents? Were your parents like what kind of couple were your parents?
They shouldn't have been together till I was 15. I'll just say that.
So there was a lot of love in the household.
Yeah.
Like, how did you learn what dating was, or like how'd you figure it out? Like the first time you liked a girl, or like the first time.
The first girl I ever liked, I don't remember her name, but I remember I remember what she looked like. I remember she had like short black hair that was, you know how kind of like 11, remember on the Stranger Things, when she put the wig on or whatever, she had the hair that like stopped right here.
Okay.
I remember she had that kind of hair. That was around the same age. She had a black leather jacket.
She's like, a bad girl.
With mad zippers on it and shit.
So it was a zipper.
That was like my first crush. I don't remember her name really, but I remember my first my high school crush. She lived near me, and she lived in between me and my friend, and I would take the long way so I could walk past her house, and I would always dribble the basketball so she would hear me coming.
He had that basketball game, with no game though.
Shout out to everyone in the chat.
So basically, you.
Hold on, let's give some shout outs in the chat here.
Oh, sorry. Everyone.
Shout out to Hectic. Shout out to Garth Cultivator, G. Dot, Hope, John. Damn, Ape is in here. Lisette, the Healer, Shortcut. What's up, everybody, man? We're gonna be in here talking about. This is some good stuff, man. Watch it with your girl. It's a good one. The evolution of dating from like little things. Like my big thing was the dating games. Like the dating game to Singled Out to fucking Married at First Sight to where people meet each other in the dark and they don't like
dating in the dark, dating naked.
Dating naked. Shout out to Lisette. Shout out to Brandon. If you're watching on Facebook, that's awesome. We appreciate you, but the real video is on YouTube.
Real.
I'll put the link in the chat so you guys, if you want to go to the real video, we'll have a chat going on over there. We're gonna have giveaways. The first giveaway today is going to be our brand new album, Make 'Em Pay 'Em Myself, The Cost. That's gonna be our first giveaway. And like every episode, we have art to give away. So we'll get there. But sorry, I just want to let you guys know you're watching Mind Your Manners, episode 7. Chef Tanya Nicole, the one and only.
Welcome, my people.
All right, go ahead, babe.
Yeah,
sorry, coworker.
But you know, like your first experience of either getting asked out or asking someone out,
like, or getting asked.
Same. I think it's just totally different. It's totally different as you grow up because you care about different things. And then it's totally different now because of technology. So.
Oh yeah, it's so easy now. Yeah.
I mean, I think before, how would you ask someone out if you didn't see it on TV? Like, see one of your other friends.
Well, it started
first.
from clubbing girls over the head and dragging them to the cave, and it's progressed into. May I ask you? May I tell you you're pretty? Can I tell you you're pretty, please?
First, you have to ask if you can touch me.
Oh, can I touch you and then tell you
no.
you're pretty? Shout out to Tom. Shout out to Nathan.
Yeah, I don't know if I had to figure all that out. I don't know how that would have worked, or if I would have even gotten dates.
Shout out to JFK.
I don't know.
I think for a girl, it's much easier to get dates. You have to say no to more dates. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think for a woman, it's much easier to get, the date. My personal opinion. And it has nothing to do with, like who looks good or who looks good. Most guys will fuck any woman. I've come to realize that most fucking guys will fuck the trashiest women. It doesn't matter Like you all spend all this money on your nails and your hair, and they'll just fuck a girl with Burger King wrappers in her backseat.
I'm gonna say no to that.
No,
I mean,
you can't say no.
That's true. I can't say no because I ain't a dude.
Yeah, that's not true.
And I think it's just different. I also think it's different as you get older. Because, like, if some little boy in the 3rd grade asks you out, you're probably going to say yes. You're not worried about STDs or if he's a serial killer or anything like that. You know, it's like, oh, it's cute, this little boy. He got me a flower. You know, maybe in the 8th grade, it's a little bit harder. You know, maybe it's like your first time being asked out. You know, your hormones are raging. So you're like, oh, attraction. You know?
Yeah, I think girls are more embarrassed at that age, and guys just want to fuck things. Like, I think that's what it is. Girls are way more embarrassed. And what was more embarrassing to you? Did you feel more judged by the girls or more judged by the guys? Like, who did you feel like if like your shirt ripped and your bra was exposed, who would you be more embarrassed to see it at that time? The girls who would giggle at you or make fun of you, or the guys who would be like, oh. What's more uncomfortable? Because I know girls have a different experience. We don't give a shit. Like, like.
I'm trying to think, like, most, like, embarrassing thing that happened to me in terms of that age. And it was, like, in the 8th grade, the boys used to, like, come around and, like, flip your bra strap.
Like this? Flip?
No, like, in the back.
Oh, in the back?
Like a slingshot. And I think their hopes were that it would unhook and your bra would get all...
Yeah, what's the hope?
Yeah, so I think that would have been more embarrassing. I don't think it would have been embarrassing for me for girls, because on the real, like, girls have the same thing, and, like, you probably already saw it in gym class, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to switch out with each other. I would say, thank God we didn't have to shower with each other, but, like, you have to change for gym. So, whatever you had or you didn't have, and then also, like I said, I was well endowed.
Hello.
I think since, like, 5th or 6th grade.
All right,
so
I take back my hoe.
I wasn't
talk about when you're 18.
I wasn't worried. I wasn't worried about, oh, her boobs are small or she ain't got no boobs.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't have to worry about that, so I wasn't thinking about that. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to JFK. Shout out to DJ Slim in the chat.
What?
See, DJ Slim was saying Burger King wrappers in the back seat. That's how everybody likes to get down. Crinkle, crinkle, crinkle.
No.
I'm just joking.
Plus, the hot spot I was in the suburbs when I was going to high school, and the hot spot would be McDonald's because it was literally like 2 blocks away, and everyone would hang out at the McDonald's. Again, another thing is like the card club.
What's the card club? Oh, like the guys, the card.
Like every Sunday, like all the guys with like either muscle cars or hooked up Hondas or Toyotas, depending what your thing was, would like show up at like the marketplace parking lot, and everyone would just like hang out there, and it would be like basically like an 8th grade dance but with cars.
Okay.
So like the dudes would come, a lot of them with their boys, some of them with their girls.
And how many people? It was like a big party, like.
Yeah, like at least 100 people, and then like girls would come in their cars, and some of them would be hooked up, and then it would kind of be like a social thing,
Okay.
But the other places that we would chill, especially being younger, well, I would always drive into the city, but if I did hang out where I lived at, there'd be like little nightclubs, like 18 and older spots, that everybody in the county would come, and our county was pretty big. Like from one end of the county to another, you're driving at least 25 minutes. County? Yeah, Rockland County. Okay. So,
see, I had
people came from all areas.
Shout out to Wally in the chat. Shout out to Revolution in the chat. Shout out to everybody watching on Facebook. We appreciate it. You're watching a bootleg link. The real link is on YouTube. I'm going to put it in the chat. We'd love for you to go to YouTube and watch it. But if you're just going to stay on Facebook, that's fine too.
And you're watching the Mind Your Manners
Shout
podcast.
Out to Joey. Watching the Mind Your Manners podcast, episode 7. Shout out to Joey B in the chat. Boom. All right.
Yeah, but I think it was not, I didn't feel a lot of pressure. I think with me, it was more like the boys that I liked probably didn't like me.
Okay.
Or, I was ethnic for the population where I was living.
All right.
So it was more like, oh, if I like this boy, he probably didn't like me. And actually, I remember actually writing this boy like a letter. to be like, hey, I really like you. I think it was like even actually after I asked him to like homecoming or something like that. And it was like one of those like you poured your heart out and you're like, fingers crossed, let's see what happens. Or maybe it was after we went to the dance. It was awkward.
I think I was always able to approach my crush. I had whatever disease. Oh, you don't like me? Go wherever.
So your crush would be over like that. Like
No,
you crushed on a girl.
I say it wouldn't be over. I would crush on a girl for a bit, but I would always approach that girl at some point. It wouldn't be like a long time, but I would like her. This girl, and I never really had the problem approaching people. But the girls I went to high school with, they weren't really my bag, baby. Like they weren't my cup of tea.
That wasn't
really.
your stilo.
So in my entire high school experience of 4 years of high school, I never had a girlfriend that was in my high school. I went on a date with one girl that was in my high school. Like we went out once.
Yeah.
But like some terrible shit happened to like a friend of ours while it happened. So the date just fell apart, and I never tried to bring it back up because it was so bad. Like a mutual friend of ours had passed during our first date, and it was just like, it was like I never tried to like rekindle that because it was just that's all I could. Even if I saw that person today, 25 years later, first thing I would think about, I would be like, oh my god, so awkward.
Bendito.
Who's Bendito? I don't like him.
I'm trying to think, but like, so most cases you ask the girl out.
Yeah, I'd say for sure. I think that. Shout out to Mikey Bias. Shout out to Max. Shout out to Rose. Most cases, definitely.
Yo, like that shit. Pass that. How you get a girl?
Like I had girls that I knew liked me but I still asked them out. You know, but that was like shooting fish in a barrel. Like such a terrible expression, but it's like perfect. Like if you know someone likes you, then it's much easier. You know what I'm saying? Than like putting yourself on the line. Fucking maybe, you know, what kind of girl is this? Is she gonna say no and then tell the whole school? Like who knows? I never really worried about shit like that, but that is something that people
Our
worry
high school
about.
was mad small. There was only like 500 plus kids. So like you literally knew everybody. And it was like the same school system. So like everybody pretty much was going to school together since like elementary school.
Okay.
Yeah,
kind of.
I came in late. So people done swap saliva many times over.
My town had multiple elementary schools, like 5 or 6 elementary schools, and then they had one junior high, and then they had one high school. But you had the opportunity to pick your high school. You could go to a vocational school, which is like 2 towns away, 1 town away. But like we kind of grew up.
YouTube comments. We kind of saying they're commenting on YouTube.
We kind of grew up in the same kind of place in that aspect.
Yeah.
So what's going on the YouTube comments? Oh my God. Swap saliva. You got a hashtag going, babe. Shout out to Quarantine Cody. Hey, read the correct.
All right. What's up, Quarantine Cody? So he says, at an early age, I learned you can't hit a home run from the bench. You at least have to go up to the plate and swing the bat. I like that.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. That was cool.
I think a lot of times, especially, I would say in the 90s, 2000s, or even now, it's just really how you approach the other person. Like, even if they say no, they could say no in a nasty way, or they could say no in a nice way, you know? And I think it depends on how you approach someone. If you're like, yo, ma, your ass is bagging, yo, I want to get in there. Yeah, I want to fucking be, like, dyed and, like, buried in that shit, yo.
That's your cat call? I like
Some of them have been like that.
No, I bet.
Some of them have been as easy and as gross as, can I lick your hands? Legit, someone said that to me in a bar.
Even during Corona?
No.
Wow. Yeah, like girls don't talk like that. I mean, maybe when they're together they talk like that, or when they're with their guy.
Oh, when we're together we talk like that.
Like when they're you never walk down the street and have a girl be like, I want to unzip your pants and yank on your cock. Like, you know, they just don't talk like that.
Now, facts out there in the chat.
I mean, don't say there's some
girls, if some hollered at you like that, How would you react? Straight up.
You'd fucking look around for the nearest door and be like, all right, let's go behind this door.
I ain't asking you.
Oh.
Okay. This coming from the man that calls women, what is it? What do you like to tell when we're watching shows like reality shows and shit?
Oh, when girls fuck a dude on the first date Kate.
Yeah, he'd be like, oh, she's a first date Kate.
Hashtag. Make sure you use it. Shout out to Wally in the chat. If you're watching on Facebook, head over to YouTube. So what's up? You're running this. This is you. What's up? What you got next? I see you got the proper notes all out and everything.
Well, we were gonna talk about the different. I guess really, like you said, how it started. So let's start from the beginning with the what is that? Dating shows. I mean,
she got upset with me because I said this. I don't know if she got upset, but I said this. I said, post the sexual revolution of the 60s, the human race, the human female, is one of the only animals in nature that has, and I'm not even complaining, ladies, we love it, but is the only animal that a female animal that has sex, like, for nothing. Like most animals, like you see,
for nothing.
You see a lion's trying to fuck a lion, and 19 lions have to fight before the best lion gets some lion pussy. It just doesn't work like that with it's oh, who we got here?
I'm trying to get onto the...
Oh shit. So we're gonna start with a dating game? I love it.
We got a couple. But look at this.
So I always saw some people in the YouTube chat that are agreeing with me. I'm afraid to check the Facebook chat because there's more girls in there.
Agreeing you on what? Move it. I'd say clicks, clit. Clicks, clit.
Oh my god.
So y'all really don't have a standard. Like, straight up.
No, it's not that. Some men have a standards, like I have standards, but I do know men that will fuck any woman.
Do you think there are women that will fuck any men? And are
Yes.
they the same?
Yeah.
Number one question.
Like, there's so many men out there who are fucking a girl right now because she buys him free Jordans, and he has,
Free Jordans? No, sorry. I wasn't putting Jordans up there.
Episode 5. They're called, what did I call them? Hobosexuals. People who live...
Hobosexuals. You heard it here first. Hashtag hobosexuals. If you know a hobosexual, again, please describe it for the people out there.
Hobosexual is someone who is with someone for a free place to live.
Like, she got it on lock, she cooks for him, she pays the rent.
Exactly.
He could just do whatevs. Whether he's like an entrepreneur, a starving artist, or just a straight up bum, scrub.
The chat is so funny on YouTube.
What are they saying in the chat? Share.
It was going back to just laughing at the whole lion cock blocking from all the lions trying to bang. That was funny.
But that's the thing. If y'all were back in the day, it'd be like all of you are fucking that like one lion.
No, only one lion is gonna fuck that lion. That's the thing. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. In nature, even in human nature, up until a long time, like in the 1940s, women weren't just fucking guys
We
everywhere
had
they
to
went.
share y'all, but y'all don't gotta share.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how it is in the animal
Yes.
kingdom.
So it's not even really sharing because you're like in the animal kingdom. It's multiple animals fighting for one female, okay, and then mostly they will, at least for the whole mating season, be monogamous with each other. That lion is kicking it with that lioness, and then maybe the next mating season is different. But for that mating season, I'm saying. It was just something interesting that I thought was interesting.
You know what I think is interesting? The praying motherfucking mantis.
Oh, okay.
What was God thinking when he made her? I just want to know. He was fed up with Adam, that's for sure. He was like, yo, I'm making insects today. This bitch is gonna fuck this motherfucker. Then she gonna eat his head for protein. Imagine if that shit was how we did it.
And that's crazy because
y'all would not be having sex.
You know the praying mantis doesn't have self-awareness of life and death, or know it's gonna happen. But maybe he does, because sometimes God wants to nut, I guess. But
he's like those Japanese airmen, they're like, we going down, but we going down for a purpose.
A lot of animals are instinctively scared in the moment, like if something's chasing them. But they don't sit around walking through the woods being like, damn, I'm going to die someday. like we do.
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
You hanging around with praying mantis, you see another praying mantis and another praying mantis fucking. Next thing you know, George is gone. I'm thinking about it.
Praying mantis porn sounds like something that's a hashtag.
Yeah, you heard it here first.
So shout out to everybody in the chat. It's awesome that you're here. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, YouTube is the real home. If you're watching on Facebook, please join us on YouTube. Shout out to Nikki in the chat. Shout out to Sean in the chat. Max again. He said that's why Simba and Nala are cousins. That's fucked up.
Ew.
So we're gonna have some giveaways today. We already talked about that. We have some art to give away, some cannabis-related art, and we have only in America. If you want any of this stuff, we will send it to you, but we're not paying for customs shipping and handling because we're cheap. But we're gonna give some of these away. It's my new album. I'm the producer. Makeup Pays the rapper. We're gonna give some of those away today.
Great lyrical.
And I just dropped
production value.
So that one's for DJ Slim. All right, so where we at now?
Got you, DJ Slim. So let's start talking about these dating games. So like when growing up, all right, the dating game is literally one of the oldest. I think it's been around since like the mid '60s.
Okay, I have my notes. I was just digging up my notes on the dating game.
Okay, so the one thing, I think it was the dating game. Was this the one that I got creeped out?
Yeah. Well, yeah. This is the one where he was like super touchy with all the contestants when they came out.
Okay, first of all, they coming on the show to meet somebody, not to meet you, the host. So this dude, every time that they had a contestant, this mother got a little kiss, and I'm not talking about a little side action. He give it right into the mouth, right? Like that was the thing, like they do it slow, almost to be like, oh, it's not a big deal that we about to get.
Yeah,
like slow and like very like. But every time, that was the first thing that I was like, oh, me too gonna get me mad.
This is something you wrote down on my notes about you said that they would kiss him on the mouth, which I think is so wild.
It's creepy.
But this one contestant said she quit her previous job because she was massaging her boss's feet. Something you want to talk about. Yeah.
In the intro, right? Like they make the contestant tell them like something interesting, something fun, something spicy, right? And he was like, oh, this woman is a foot massager, but she had to quit her previous job because her employer kept telling her that she could work her way to the top, meaning from his feet
to his meat.
That's a very good one.
From feet to the meat. Skeet.
And I was like, okay, sexual harassment much? And then they're like talking about it, and it was like a joke, like, ha 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 ha, I got sexually harassed.
Yo, the Me Too movement would have had a fucking field day with this shit.
Oh my God. It's not even probably allowed. And then, like, obviously she, like, doesn't see the three men behind the closed curtain, like the Wizard of Oz. And they're asking the gentleman 1, 2, and 3 questions. And everything is mad spicy. And we're talking about, like, 60s and 70s.
Yeah, I think it was more of the 70s. It might have been the 60s, though. I'm not really sure. But I did have some notes about that. I thought it was it's funny how TV went from you could be really racy. As long as you didn't do certain things, you could be extremely racy.
Show it, basically, you could be racy.
Back then, and even some of it, I mean, it went from like C-level raciness to A-level, like in the 90s, early 2000s. Now it's like D-level. You can't even say anything on television anymore. But I really did notice that I really thought it was racy. I thought the show was basically a role-playing exercise. That's basically what they did on the show.
Yeah, like every question was like, what would you do in this situation? And it was like, what is the like, it's basically like sexting live.
It was.
I mean, like, look.
It was ahead of its time.
She's dressed all innocent and cute.
Yeah, but she's like, she's talking about bananas. Like, she was the one talking about bananas, right? She was like, oh, I like a banana split. She was talking about dicks. But I'm just saying, it wasn't hard to figure out their innuendos. But I was just surprised how close to the line it was for that time.
Super. I'm like this. I mean, I guess the 70s maybe that was like the sexual revolution, so maybe that's why like it was starting like that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I mean, I guess a lot of stars though used to go on those shows, so I wonder if that was like reality TV where it was like staged.
Yeah, a couple of people were telling me that John Hamm was on one of these shows.
Yeah, I mean, like, see if the Chromecast is acting like a menopaused woman, getting hot and cold. I can say it because I'm a woman.
So we got some people going on in the chat here. I'm gonna read these real quick. Lisette's in the chat now on YouTube. Thank you for going over to YouTube, everybody. If you've done that, that's where we really want everybody to be. We're keeping it on Facebook, but we really want you on YouTube. Puff Puff Pass. There's a lot of people shouting out the album that want some giveaways. That's awesome. Nikki Lou in the chat. He says, bruh, TV is explicit as fuck right now. FX and yes. On cable television, you're right. It is explicit. But on network TV, like, dude, in the 90s, you were like seeing ass on NYPD Blue.
Yeah. Let's talk about this dude.
What dude? Oh my god.
I'm just gonna keep sliding to keep it active, but
So this guy was a contestant on the dating game, and he ended up being a serial killer. This guy, he didn't kill his date on the show or anything, which I was under the impression that he did.
well, the story behind that, like, first of all, look at his eyes, right? Like, they look like he just got nice, like he's smizing, right?
He's smizing.
But then you look down here, look at this mouth. He looked creepy as fuck. He looked like he about to tell you all the lies.
I go back to him real quick, the full screen. If you didn't tell me he was a serial killer, I'm not getting no serial killer from this. I'm getting Mike Brady.
Listen, that's exactly what a serial... What is with you, white people? Hello! Serial killers look like nice people! That has already been established. How many documentaries do you need to watch? Oh, he was such a nice guy.
I'll give you that.
Well-mannered. Used to help me take out the trash. And then he kills your daughter and wears her skin.
Nikki Lou in the chat says, the young Charles Manson look.
Mm-hmm.
See,
Come on, you got that feather hair. Like, I'm in the know. I'm fashionable.
So I wish I had two other guys to show you to put next to him. And
well, you can look like you
and
can
you
look
didn't
at
know-
the host.
Yeah, but you already know who the killer is, so it's unfair.
That's true, but the host look creepy as fuck too. Look at him.
He's still gonna.
He's like laughing at himself. I got someone in my trunk right now.
So this guy, this guy was a serial killer. He killed, like, see, we don't really want to go too in depth on what he did because it's terrible.
No, but what I was gonna say is what happens is at the end, apparently off camera.
Oh, I got it right here.
Yeah. Oh, do you want to say it?
No, you got it.
Off camera, the girl who won the date, who picked him, said that she was getting the creepy vibe, so she didn't want to go on the date with him.
Yeah, which, she probably had, she probably had a sixth sense or something.
For real. Good for her.
But if you just said that was a guy in a band in 1970 called the Love Strokes, I'd be like, yeah, that's him. He was based in the Love Strokes. He doesn't look like no fucking serial killer to me. But what I wanted to say, just to throw some shade on this guy, he killed kids.
Yeah, he's a fucking pedophile.
He did stuff to fucking kids and killed them. And what blew my mind when we were researching this, he was a film student, and his teacher was Roman Polanski, who's another one of them fucking guys. So it kind of just blew my mind. We're gonna move on from this guy because we're not really trying to even talk about what he did.
Dude.
Fuck this guy in the Love Strokes, the bassist on the Love Strokes, he sucks. So I think that's all I really thought about the dating game. It started this shit. I mean, correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, but I thought the dating game started like this kind of stuff. Because if you look at all these other shows, it's kind of the same fucking show.
Yeah.
Like there's 3 rounds of something.
Well, like
I don't want to mention any other shows because we're going to go into them.
Right.
Yeah,
you have a choice. It's usually 3 rounds.
Yeah.
3 rounds of something.
Like they're like the originator of this format, and people tried to duplicate it over the years, and I think only one really gave them a run for their money. But only one gave them a run for their money, but there was a bunch of ones that were close. But I think this one was probably the most famous. I think the Love Connection was the most famous one.
That one was dope. The one, the premise was, the girl would sit on the couch.
Chuck Woolery.
Right. So it was kind of like the dating game, and she had to pick someone. But then, remember, they would go out on the date, and then they would film it, and then they'd get like another contestant, and then the last contestant was like someone they were bringing back who they had filmed.
Okay, so you're
Like
bringing it back to me. I didn't really. I just remembered we'll be back in 2 and 2. That's all I really remember from the Love Connection.
Yeah, so at the end of the show, they would always bring someone back, and he would ask her, like, how did the date go or whatever, and then he would ask the guy, and then they would bring them back both so that they could both hear each other, and then he would ask them, so do you want to go on a second date? And then they'd either say yes or no. And sometimes the guy had no clue that he fucked up on the date, and you would hear, that was my favorite part, is you would hear the gossip of what happened on the date and what stupid shit the guy or girl did.
Okay.
So.
I do. You're kind of bringing it back to me. I just remember it being on. I never watched it to watch it, but it would be on like right before I watched some.
Well,
something.
you know, I definitely watched it.
But I do remember. I think that one is maybe more famous than the dating game. Maybe.
I don't know. Do people remember the dating game or the Love Connection?
Yeah, I think everyone remembers both of those ones. So I don't really have nothing on the Love Connection. I'm just saying that it was like the dating show when I was a kid. I was the only one.
I think the part that I liked was the drama. The fire at the end when you got the person to come back and each person told their story. And the match, you were just like, some of the people you rooted for, like, oh, I remember this when I saw it. I hope they go on a second date. And then you'd be like, he did what? What an asshole.
That's hilarious. Yeah. That's not Corona cough. That's a weed cough.
And they would pay for the second date. So that would kind of like entice you.
That's
I guess. All right, what about like the ones in the 90s?
All right.
Oh, this is my favorite one. This is my favorite right here.
Yeah, we can go with this one right here. Does anyone in the chat know what the name of this show is before we say it while I post this?
This one looks like what the one from In the Sick that came out from the closet. What was his name?
Lance Bass.
That looks like Lance Bass right there.
If anyone in the chat knows what
Come on.
We know, but I want to know if anyone knows what this is. Shout out to Andy.
If it helps, it was on MTV.
This one was kind of crazy. No one knows. I have to check the other chats. I guess I'm not even paying attention to the other chats. So, talk about. Oh yeah, here we go. Quarantine Cody. How about Cheaters at the end of the show? Of this show. Oh, Cheaters, I get it.
Cheaters, that's a good one. That one's more like 2000, right? Like, that one's more of a modern...
All right,
I don't know if it was a dating show, but maybe we'll get back to that.
This show right here was called Room Raiders, right? Or Room Raiders.
Room Raiders on MTV.
Room Raiders. Basically, they would... You tell them, because...
Okay.
I remember it, but she tells it too funny.
So, what they would do is they would... go into 3 girls or 3 guys' houses and basically kidnap you and stick you in a van. So I don't know how they pulled this off, that you didn't know that they were coming. But they came and they kidnapped you. Then they would be like, this is Joe. Joe's looking for a girl, whatever, nobody cares. And then they would go into your house and look through your shit. And then you would be in the van with the other girls while he looked through your shit. And then at the end of going after everybody's place, he would have to then decide which apartment or house or whatever he chose to go on a date. And it would get nasty. Like, they would bring out the black light. Every time, as a girl,
that's too much, man.
I was like, bring out the black light. Let's see how crazy this dude is.
This guy's going to have nuts over everything.
Oh my God, some of them were disgusting.
Did they show nuts, like cum stains?
Well, they showed the stain.
Oh my God. That is so embarrassing.
Or when they find just nasty shit, like, some of the dudes' places were nasty, like, had, like, old food.
You'd be like, straight up, if I don't really think those shows were real. I do think they were entertaining, but I don't think any of them were really real. It's another thing I wanted to touch on. But if it was real, and you were sitting in a van, and some badass chick was going through your room right now, You have no time to clean up anything, throw anything in the hamper, throw stuff in the trash. You would just say, well, I guess I'm not fucking that girl.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you say
up,
that you guys...
You would stand up and leave the van.
That's the point.
You'd be like,
But the point is, like, if dating now, imagine if, okay, this is perfect. Okay, I have copyrights on this, so if anybody comes out with this, I'm suing you.
Oh, shit.
Especially for quarantine. It would be the best dating app, yo.
What? Oh,
the
yeah,
first,
yeah.
Like, Grindr, whatever, swipe right, swipe left, it could be a stage of pictures. And the first, like, picture or video, you don't see what they look like. You see their house. I don't even want to see, there's 3 places I want to see. I want to see what the bathroom looks like, what the kitchen looks like.
Shout out to the Spartan. Go ahead.
Okay? And what your bedroom looks like. Those 3 places in your house. That's what I want to see. What about you? Like,
I want to see what her grow room looks like. I want to know. There's. Oh man, that one's a good one. The concept of that show was genius. If that was real, you would just see people leaving the show in embarrassment as soon as they found out. You wouldn't even have to go through their house. You would just say, all right, Steve, sit down. Vanessa, they'll show Vanessa. She'll just be smashing her tits together, and they'll be like, she's about to walk through your room. Be like, yeah, I'm leaving. I'm going. Tell her not to go in my house, please. Because
look at her face. Either it's her room, and she's so embarrassed right now, or it's someone else's, because this girl looks like her cheeks are red too, so it could be her room. But how interesting would that be? New app, new dating app. How clean are you? How dirty are you? Clean or dirty?
But the concept of this show was so wild to me though. I never really watched it, but I have seen it. I never watched any dating show religiously. Like, oh, I gotta see the new blah blah blah. That is not true, because our next show that we're gonna talk about in a couple minutes is, I did watch that a lot.
Wait, are we gonna go into the 90s or are we gonna go into 2020? Which way are we going?
No. You know where we're going next, but we're not done with this yet.
Okay.
I want to shout out to Spartan in the chat. That he's an up and coming rapper. Check him out. But make sure you don't check him out until the podcast is over.
Stay here right now.
Yeah, stay
Subscribe, like, hit the notifications. Mind your manners with Chef Tanya Nicole
and Myster DL.
And Myster DL.
I just thought that show was wild, and we did research on this, like what we wanted to talk about and shit, and I didn't even remember that shit. She brought it up. She's like, what about room raiders? And I said, womb raiders? And I was like, oh yeah, shit. That show where they would go to people's houses? Oh my god, that's terrible.
I just love it. This is like the perfect
oh my god.
picture.
It's like, this girl, it's the girl's room covering her face. This girl is amazed by how disgusting she is.
She's like, what the F? She's saying right now, like, whoa. And then the girl in the middle is like, ha ha, my house was last. You were laughing at me?
Yeah, her house was probably clean as fuck. All right, ready to go to the next one? This one right here I have so many notes for, because this one, shout out to Jillian, shout out to Richard and Jessica in the chat.
What's up, everybody?
This next one I have so many notes for, because this is prime time. This is prime time right here.
Are you sure it's this one?
Yeah, no.
That's why I asked you which one. Okay, hold on.
It's okay.
We're going to pause here, because I don't want to ruin the surprise.
So please like this video on YouTube.
God.
Shout out to Navigator.
Talk about this one.
Please like this video. Do we want to show the video of today? The video of the day?
No.
You sure? The video of the you can, because that shit was hilarious.
Oh, here we go. Okay, I got it.
All right, so please like this video. Please share it. The YouTube link to Facebook. It really helps us. That's all you have to do to win shit. And today we have the joints. They're downstairs, but I have a couple right here. I'll show them to the camera. Today we have blunt and joint pins and Make 'em Pay Myster DL CDs. The album's not even out yet. You can roll around with it right now, and no one will fucking tell you can't.
My favorite is number 12, excuse me.
But see, these are pins right here. They're made out of modeling clay and painted by Indo Joe. If you live in America, we'll send you one just for sharing the video, the YouTube link. And like, see, these are the joints. They got all sizes. and then we got that CD. So please just share the fucking
Social.
YouTube link on social media. You know, say something about it, tag us, whatever, but just let me know that you did
Hear
it.
something, say something.
Yeah, like you guys are gonna help us reach a lot of people, man. There's billions of people on YouTube. Joe Rogan's leaving, so we're trying to take over. We're trying to take over Joe Rogan's
He's
spot.
going to Spotify. I love
So-
the man. Shout out to Joe Rogan.
This show right here was kind of cool, I think. Like, when I was a kid, I thought that show was kind of cool. If you remember this show, hit us up in the chat. Shout out to Chris Baez. Oh, that's G Dot. Shout out to Marky Miz. That's cool. Shout out to Navigator
I think
again.
most people will remember it because it had Jenny McCarthy.
If you're watching on Facebook, you can't. I'm just realizing now, you can't see our television. But if you go to YouTube, I'll supply it in the link again. I mean, in the chat. If you go to YouTube, you can see everything. All right, cool. We gotta talk about this show. This show was fucking crazy.
So, again, a lot of the reason why a lot of guys used to watch this show is because Jenny McCarthy was on there.
she was super hot. She was like one of the first she was one of the hot chicks. Her personality was too much.
To be like goofy and like over the top.
Her personality was a little too much for me. I would like hate to hang around her.
I think she was just being a personality though.
Yeah.
Like she didn't walk around like that. But she was also in a crowd of like 50 dudes.
Yeah, she handled that being surrounded by 50 men that were like so cheesy and so gropey. She handled it way better than Carmen Electra.
Yeah.
She was
definitely.
and Jenny McCarthy was really good at roasting dorky dudes.
Well, good roasting anybody, but especially.
Yeah, but like all these dudes, they would come up and they would try to be smooth and say this crazy ass shit, and she would just fucking be like, "Yo, I'm not giving you no pussy."
And then the host that like did all the game parts, you could tell he was like this mellow guy. Like, I guess he looked like a boy next door kind, like you know.
Oh, he looked like the brother from Boy Meets World.
Oh, that's what you said before.
Yeah, this guy right here looked like Corey Matthews' elder brother, whatever his name was. Hit me up in the chat and let me know what this guy's Corey Matthews' brother's name was on Boy Meets World.
Oh my God, he really does look like that. Like especially in this picture.
He really does. But Jenny McCarthy made that show. I don't remember any girls being in awe of this guy. Do you remember? Like, did girls think he was the hot guy? Because guys thought Jenny McCarthy was hot.
I thought she was very pretty, but I did not think he was hot. But he ain't my flavor, so at that age especially, that wasn't my stelos.
So you looking back, you can't remember anyone saying that this guy was like their crush.
No, I didn't know anybody crushing on this dude. Sorry.
Hit us up in the chat if you know this fucking guy's name.
I'm sure my sister would have loved him.
Oh, really? Shout out to Jason Donnelly.
Because he has like that skater, could be a grunge guy, could be a preppy guy, could be like a combination of the
What was
two.
this dude's name? It don't matter.
It doesn't. But like, look at the categories, right? Like that's what.
Yeah, that's what I want to talk about. I thought that the first round. So basically, what happened on that show is they would blindfold the girl, and they would parade her out.
They would do it to the guy too, but
Yeah,
still.
well, I think it went girl first, right?
Yeah, girl first.
Girl first. They would parade her out in front of 50 men who were just the cheesiest fucking
For real,
guys.
like this dude right here.
It was basically.
Look at this. Like, not one of these guys in the back is cute.
It was
not
basically.
one. Not even for that standard.
It was basically 47 duds that they found on the street.
Look at this dude in the back.
He looks like Peter Dante from Grandma's Boy. There was basically 47 duds for men and women. There was 47 duds, and then 3 people that they staged throughout, and for them to be the final round.
Yeah.
But basically, they would parade the contestant out in front of 50 people. Blindfolded, sit them down, and then they would start the first round. And the first round had like these random ass like topics, like I'm gonna choose warts, like, and then they would choose warts, and then they'd be like, if you have warts, you gotta go.
No, it was more like the answers would be like one in a few, or like all the way, or like something like that. So the ones that had like all the warts, basically. So you still got 1 or 2.
So Why wouldn't you just say you didn't have warts?
Well, the choice probably wasn't that. Like, they
Oh,
tried to
okay.
be slick
Oh,
with
so
it.
they were just making shit up to be
Yeah.
funny. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
That makes more sense. But I as a kid, I just
Low
remember.
production value.
As a kid, I just remember being like, why wouldn't you just say you didn't have warts on your dick? That's why I picked that one.
The funny part is they would put the dude's name or the woman's name, and then they would put the answers, whatever the answers were. So, like, at one
they
point,
wrote it on their chest.
you could tell that the guy didn't know what he wrote, and he was, like, looking at his shirt, like, dude, you don't remember? It was, like, 6 questions. Like, it's not that serious. Like, what the fuck? And look at this other one. Height, body hair, career goals, age, package. And then the girl didn't even pick package as the first thing. She picked, like, body hair.
No, I think she did. You're right. I remember watching that one.
It's like, what the hell? Like, that's your priority. At least I'm going career, facts. This is which one I'm going. I'm going, like, career goals, package, and kissing style. That would probably be my top 3 priority. Because age and height, like, you're all in college, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I guess so. Why doesn't height matter? You're not growing no more.
I'm 5'2", so, like, you gotta be mad short for you to be short to me.
Yeah. If you're watching on Facebook, please go to YouTube. I'm about to end the Facebook link, so go to YouTube so we can get into this juicy shit. Juicy? I should go live from the Mind Your Manners podcast page. We've never tried that.
That's true. Do you have anything else to talk about with the...
Yeah, we have a lot to talk about this show. I thought this show was we talked we did talk about a lot of it. One thing I liked about the show that made it feel kind of real, even though I think all that shit is staged. The one was when the girl would be like, anyone that has warts gotta leave, and then all like 40 guys would walk off. She could pick a guy that she thought was cute.
Oh yeah.
Remember, she could like give him like a.
It was like a golden.
She could give him like a cost CD, and he could stay, but it's still probably super staged. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing I remember about that show, and I remember about when we were watching for the show.
I remember exactly what happened.
You said, did they pick the ugliest dudes in America?
Yo, let me tell you. Like
the picture she showed is such a bad example. Those were probably the finalists. Those were probably the finalists.
Those guys look fine compared to like the 30, 40 dudes that they had walk out. I was like, what is this, ugliest men in America? Like, one was like just extreme features. One looked like he hadn't showered. Then the other thing is like, when they get kicked out, they have to pass by her, so she gets to see what they look like.
And they're all kissing her. Like,
oh my god! They literally like kissing her, giving her. It's like, dude, you got kicked out. You ain't got no chance.
Like, even if it is staged, all that shit was super creepy.
Touch me.
Like, that's not part of the thing.
Especially because you look like a creepy pedophile.
What about the ear cleaning challenge?
Oh my god, that was disgusting.
She's like, they picked the 3 winners in there, and she was like, they did some fucking poem, and basically it was they're gonna Q-tip everyone's ears, and whoever has the dirtiest ears was out.
Who thinks of this?
So fucked up, man.
I know it wasn't her. She wasn't like, you know what's gonna really make me decide on who I want to spend at least 2 hours with? How much earwax does he have?
Gina in the chat says, talk to me nice, I've been ugly for years. But, dude, that was the grossest thing. First of all, if you know you're gonna be on, it's not even a dating thing.
Maybe
if
it
you
was
know,
a hygiene thing.
if you know you're gonna be on television, you should be like, especially mainstream television, you should be on point. You shouldn't have fucking dirty.
They picked those dudes randomly from the street. They were like, go to Times Square.
Yeah, I used to have that job.
We need 40 people.
Not for Singled Out, but I used to do it for TRL. And basically my job was to go outside.
I know our fans are not ugly.
Huh?
I said, I know our fans out there are not ugly.
Yeah, all our fans are hot. My job was to go outside in Times Square and find attractive tourists or like locals or whatever, but it was mostly tourists. And not by choice, it's just fucking that's who's in Times Square, tourists. You know what I'm saying? It's not people who are from New York City. So, it was a cool job, but I know how those shows work like that. You go outside and hey, you're hot, you know. But
like the people on TRL, they used to get them from the
But I
street.
got in trouble at that job because I don't think I ever sent a man that wasn't a friend.
You were like, oh, my friend's hot.
And I didn't get paid a cent for that shit. It was all for the connections. And to meet hot fucking out of towners.
Non-first date caters.
Yeah, non-first date caters. I just remember that show had the cheesiest dudes. I'm just going through these notes. You covered most of my notes. Fergie was a guest.
Oh, that's right. 'Cause she was in this like female group trio, so she was in it.
And I just thought that it was very staged, but I think we crushed it. I think we talked good about that show. That was a show, man. I don't know how old most of you guys are, but I'm about 40, and that show was just so funny when I was a teenager. Shout out to Chris Carroll in the chat. Shout out to Little Lit.
All right, so what are we going to talk about next? We have
you go. You're running
this fun topic.
Oh my god.
Or
we got some YouTube chats coming in.
Absolutely. Let's go to the YouTube.
So I guess Jared was talking about Singled Out. They said that he forgot about that show. A lot of people forgot about that show. The good strain we're smoking today is what? What was? Oh my god.
Sorry.
Mac 1, and this is Purple Punch, but the Mac 1 is what we're smoking in this joint.
Well, some of us are smoking it. Others of us are just.
Our dab is I don't know, but it's sponsored. The dab was sponsored by Green Thumb Gorillas, but I'm not sure what the flavor was. You could probably find them in the chat. Shout out to Kush Smoke 909 in the chat on YouTube, in the right place to be. And Jared in the chat says she would have wiped his ass after to see if he could do that properly. I don't know why I missed it.
I think maybe after the earwax.
Oh my god! Oh, I get it.
Made sure there was no skids.
Yep. Shout out to Hectic in the chat. So yeah, where we going now? Oh my god, is that where we're going?
Why not? I think we could throw it just randomly in there just to talk about it for.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about this next one. This one you guys might not even know about because we didn't know about it.
Yeah,
but
once I was like obsessed.
It was so worthy. It was so fucking worthy of being a topic. I'm gonna let you talk about it, and I'm gonna switch the Facebook over to our Mind Your Manners podcast page.
So, I really want this to come up on the screen. I'll be very upset.
Or go to YouTube, guys.
There we go. So, forget weird blind date. How about blind date where you're both literally in like full on makeup / costume? Like she looks like a green version of Mystique.
Yeah,
and
that's
so
wild.
You go on the date and you both look like this. Not one of you. You both go out. My favorite part in the trailer is they're in a restaurant.
So explain, just give them a rundown of why exactly they do this. They do this so you don't fall in love with a person's looks.
So this is to get out of that superficial box.
Superficial, exactly.
And just basically find out, am I attracted to this person's personality? I guess, and start there. It's like a true blind date. Like you meet them, you talk to them, but you have no idea what they look like, and they have no idea what you look like. But my favorite thing was like they're both in a restaurant and you see the people walking by and they're like the expression on their face is like, what the fuck is going on here right now? It's just pretty hilarious.
Yeah,
but like, look, this is like, look at this one. He's like a blue alien and she is a full-on dog, a cat. I'm not really sure exactly what role she's playing here, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Would you go on that date? I mean, I like to dress up, but at least make me look cute. Because that dude does not look... I don't even know. Maybe he could look like a cute alien? I don't know if that's possible. Like, this guy looks not like a cute puppy. Like, what's up with the hair?
I think it's for people who have those fetishes, like the furries. Are they called the furries?
Yeah, but that's usually during sex. I don't know if they wear that shit.
Yeah, but you know if you fall in love with some girl and if you're wearing that, you just wear it when you fuck.
So
these fucking guys, like they might attract the right people. But oh my God, I love how this girl looks like that. And then when he sees her for real, he's gonna be like, put that green shit back on.
I mean, I guess that could work depending on how long it takes to like put all that stuff on.
Yeah, it looks like it takes a long because at least the makeup is really good.
Yeah, this guy's like really actually furry on his face. Oh, like look at
So
this guy.
He's trying to get that.
What if you got this guy? And you gotta see past that. Like I just don't.
It looks like that guy the general manager of the Bulls. Just not as fat.
Or
He's gotta
this
be a
guy
little
here. Look, like he's got. I don't know what. They're not even like fangs. It looks like extra skin baggage. I don't even know. I don't even know how I could get past that. Like, let me see. These eyes are even scary. Look, because you know, like the soul is through the eyes.
We are live on the Facebook Mind Your Manners page for the first time.
Oh my God! Look at this guy. This is the guy that I'm telling you. Like, they couldn't make him like a cute alien or something.
I don't know. Would you hit us up in the chat on YouTube and let me know if you would date or fuck someone who wore something like that? We got some comments coming in. Why don't you read the comments while I do a dab?
Let's see.
You can start here from right here. The Nick Cannon one.
Jared Sosa. Looks like where Nick Cannon got his idea for that properly. LOL. I don't know what that is. Green Thumb Heck. Looks like where Nick Cannon got his idea for the Masked Singer.
Lisette in the chat wants to know where the show came from. It came from England.
Yeah, it was like an English or British show. It was definitely an international show.
If you're watching on Facebook, you can't see the whole show. So
what up, bitch?
Please go to YouTube. Nah, bitch is back.
Nah, bitch is back.
Oh my God! Shout out to Steven in the chat on Facebook. Our first member on Facebook, Steven Crockett.
What's up,
That's
Steve?
our first ever post on Facebook. So, on the fan page. So, keep going. I don't know, I just thought you guys might find this show interesting or creepy. Come on, you know you want to show that.
Yeah.
You know you want to go back and show.
Oh, the video?
Yeah, the video of the day.
But they won't be able to hear it.
That's
fine.
They don't need to hear it. All right, you ready for the video of the day? If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it.
Video of the day.
This happened this morning. I'm so glad I recorded this. But here we go.
I want to preface it.
Oh yeah, I asked her if she thought she could limbo under that.
He asked me if I could clear it. He didn't say which way. And let's just preface it by saying that I thought I was hot shit because I had done yoga in the morning and I was working on these flexibility moves and I was like, oh damn, like I'm real flexible right now. Well, you already know probably what's gonna happen.
So yeah, show that.
Let's see if it'll play.
It just looks so funny from my angle. Doing a dab. Here we go. I should have me dying, man.
I totally cleared it, and then I was like, oh, you realize, like, once you clear it, you have to have some kind of balance during movement, and the balance was not there.
If we had our audio, once Corona's over, we're going to have a different setup here, but we need a producer, and we can't have a producer here right now because of the Corona, so right now we're just filming it how we film it. We have it lit right, we just don't have our microphone set up because we have no one to run that. But once we get that, I have so much stuff to show you guys, like our neighbors, the videos of our neighbors fighting.
Oh, this is the next one we gotta do. Yeah. Our neighbors are awesome. They remind me of not living in my neighborhood in the Bronx.
Alright, so this show right here is, my opinion, the fucking death of marriage.
Really?
Yeah. You can't take marriage, you can't tell me you take marriage seriously, but you married a stranger to be on television. Not you personally take marriage, but like the girl who's on the show. You know what I'm saying?
In their minds, and what I think they think is they're not marrying a stranger to get on TV. They're at a point in their lives, whatever happened.
Every guy's
whether
marrying.
They want attention or whatever it is, or they're actually looking for like love, that they are willing to let a pair, no, it's not a pair, it's like a bunch of like different specialists in their field.
Okay.
So one's like a spiritual one, one's like a sexual one, the other one's like a mind one, and the last one, she kind of does everything. And so it's almost like they fill out these applications and they interview. And then those experts match the people up.
And none of the people ever like each other.
You literally find out who you're marrying when you're walking down the aisle.
These experts are fucking terrible. All they get is they get people that hate each other and put them in a relationship, and you watch it and be like, this is a fucking train wreck.
That's not true, because they have had several successful marriages that people that actually have stayed together and have babies and
Look
all
at me.
that.
Zoom in on. If we had a producer, would be zooming in on my face right now, in shock of how that she believes that. Nice.
Well, at least that's what they show me on TV.
So I'm deleting all.
Where everyone
these.
gets their news, the TV and the internet.
So yeah, I just think that this show is a fucking a joke as far as if you really want to be married, like how could you do this to your dad? If you were a girl,
they tell their parents.
If you were a girl, how could you be like, hey dad, hi, I'm getting married to some guy. Oh really? Oh, we didn't even meet him yet. Oh, me neither.
Yeah, like every season, it's like when they go to pick out the wedding bands or whatever.
Yeah, I remember that show. Okay, I watched the show with her.
The jeweler, whether it's to the girl or the guy, they always go, and how did you meet? And they always go, well, I haven't met yet.
Yeah, yeah, because they buy the I got it.
Because they don't know.
All
they
the guys
met.
go together. I remember each other.
Yeah.
Lisette in the chat says that that's one of her favorite shows.
I feel you. Listen.
It is good drama. Like I can't say that's not good drama.
It definitely is, and you have to see it's interesting to see all the different characters of people. Cheers out there who come together to get married at first sight. Like it's not the same person. You understand what I'm saying? Like one guy was like an ex professional basketball player overseas, you know, and then she was like a nurse or something like that. And then you get like all these different people. Some people own their own businesses. And again, you don't know who this person is. You don't know if they have good credit, if they have bad credit. Do they like cats? Do they like dogs? Like, they meet at the altar. They get married. They go away on their honeymoon for a week. They come back and they have to move in together.
Yeah, that shit's wild.
They have to decide, are we going to stay where we live now? Or are we going to, like, go to your place? Or are we going to go to my place? Then they got to move in together. And then typically, like, they meet the friends,
Hectic says,
and drama ensues.
Hectic in the chat says Lisette is the queen of shows.
Lisette, which one is your favorite, like, dating or reality show? Because we got another one that's, like, probably, like, the number one right now.
Yeah, we don't watch it, but it's currently part of pop culture, so we know about it.
Yeah.
But let us know in the chat which one, like, if any of these shows you guys watch them.
Are we gonna go to it or?
I think so. Why not?
All right.
Hold on. Don't go through it. Let me check these. Let's do a quick run through of shows we didn't go in depth on.
All right.
Like just a quick one to see if any of you guys know these shows. But please tell us in the chat if you like what shows you watched, if you watched Singled Out, whatever. The first one on my list was that show Chained for Love, where they chained like 6 people together.
It was like one person of like one sex, and then I don't know if it was at least 4.
It got canceled, and I'm gonna tell you, it got canceled like right away. It got canceled because that shit is a straight fetish show.
Now it wasn't like handcuffs.
And they didn't realize it.
They were like leather bracelets, like really, really thick, like leather bracelets. But like they had like the girl in the middle, and then it was like 2 guys on one side and 2 guys on the other, and you literally had to like go to the bathroom together.
Yeah, that's they had to let them off to take a piss or whatever.
Do everything. No, because she had a mask at one point, and they were in the bathroom. Like I am not.
Oh my God.
Getting to know you and needing to be in the same room when you are doing what you need to be doing in the bathroom. How about that?
All right, so the next one.
Amber?
The next one where people forget, the show where you dated the girl's mom so the mom could get to know you better.
That was on MTV.
That was on MTV?
That was on MTV.
Did anyone see that one? Let us know if you saw that one. Lisette said the last season of Married at First Sight was lit. She said, actually, she didn't say lit.
It.
I put those words out there. She didn't say that. She said the last season was a joke. So I completely misrepresented
Like
Lisette's
a joke,
opinion.
like what kind of joke?
it was a joke as far as it probably sucked.
Well, I don't know.
She said, I was watching you guys. Mm-hmm.
Did anybody understand that? Neither did I.
So it was moving and then I lost it. But yeah, so
anyway, if you like drama,
another one. This one I got to quote Indo Joe on. He wasn't talking about this show specifically, but I told him about tonight's episode and he had something interesting to add to this. The show Dating Naked.
yes.
He didn't have this to say about this show, but just these shows in general. Hey mom, how did you meet dad? Oh, I met him naked on a show, fucking in the jungle, treating him like shit and making out with 6 other guys. I thought that was so funny.
That's interesting. That one is like straight up like, let's go animalistic and just give you what you want to see. And then after that, let's see if you can get past it and just like get to know each other. Or it would be interesting because if the girl or guy was attracted to the person, but then their interaction and you're like, oh, this guy is like dumb as a doornail, or like this girl just wants to be famous or something like that. If the guy or girl liked the other person, they would kind of like get the blinders on and not see that wasn't a good choice because they were like, oh, this person's hot. So it's pretty interesting. But
So we got some more shout outs some people joining in the Facebook chat. But if you're watching on Facebook, please watch it on YouTube. Shout out to Hectic. Shout out to Tom.
Ill Mannered Films. Mind Your Manners podcast. This is Chef Tanya Nicole.
Boom.
We got Myster DL.
Hello.
We're talking about dating, the evolution of dating,
And we've come on to the
game shows and TV shows.
yeah. So let's just go to this one right here. This one we don't watch, but we know about it through pop culture because it's the biggest thing right now.
Until it pops
It's
up.
so big it crushed The Last Dance in ratings. We just have to wait till it pops up. It's called what channel is it on? AMC?
I think this is TLC.
Oh, TLC.
Does anybody know what we're going to say?
It's called 90 Day Fiance, right?
That's right.
90 Day Fiance. We have the logo up, but it's not working. But I don't know if anybody.
There you go.
I don't know if anybody watches this show, but if you do, let us know in the chat because I'm just surprised on the popularity of this show. It's like the Bachelor level. And let me say about the Bachelor. I always say it, babe. Just the Bachelor in general. It is watched.
Wait. Everybody, listen up.
The Bachelor and all these shows are watched exclusively by women. You know what I'm saying? And it's a show about a man who dates multiple women. And it's watched by women who hate men that date multiple women. So, and they just fucking eat it up alive. And that's just a little thing I've noticed over the years.
Hypocrisy of society. That was anticlimactic.
Oh, I'll do it again. And I make my point like that. So it's just something that I always thought was weird. But this show, it went away, babe.
That's right. Yeah.
This show, I don't know. Like I was just amazed how it was more popular than a Michael Jordan documentary. Shout out to Do Cutter in the chat.
It's coming.
So it's basically the reason why it's pop culture is what happened. Spilling?
I missed my mouth.
The reason why it was pop culture was because of this one couple, this fucking guy who's how tall do you think that guy was?
No. It's not because of this one couple. Because this is acting out. No, 90 Day Fiancé has been popular for a minute now.
Well, no. Currently, it's super popular because of this one couple.
Yes, absolutely.
So, this isn't the first season of this show?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
They're like on season, I don't know, I'm guessing 10.
We're trying to show you.
Just gotta be patient.
I'm not patient,
give
though.
some TLC, just like the cable channel it's on, and just chill. And just when it's ready, it'll show itself unto us.
Make sure you like, subscribe, and share.
But just like the title says, it's 90 Day Fiancé. So you can bring someone from another country into this country with a 90-day visa because you're engaged and you're going to be married. So basically the premise of the show is the process of them meeting, and they tell them the stories of like how they met and all this other stuff. All right.
But there's this one guy on this show. We'll just start talking about it because I don't know if it's gonna work. But he like lied about his height. He lied about his looks. He lied about all this thing. And he looks like Danny DeVito as the Penguin. I don't know if you guys know who I'm talking about. But he's with this girl. She's from where? The Philippines?
Yes. She's 23.
And I said she was from a shack, and she yelled at me. But when they showed her go back and talk to her family, they were in a shack. So, and I'm not even hating because, like I said, I was rooting.
Okay, that's what
All right, so look at this guy. This is a girl. I mean, she's not the hottest girl in the world, but she's pretty. She's way too pretty to be with this weird-looking guy, right?
For sure.
But anyway, this guy is a fucking monster, and you know, and he has this 20-year-old woman, and he's just treating her like absolute garbage. He's like, your breath stinks, and I'm like, well, she lives in a shack.
Well, what happened? What she said was that she has
Look at this guy!
problems.
He looks like the Danny DeVito as the Penguin. He actually looks like someone even better, but I already loaded the picture up, but we're going to wait to show you who he looks like. If you're in my age group, you're going to love it. Look at this fucking guy. So anyway, she's fresh, like they just arrived, they meet up, and he's like, your breath stinks. Here's toothbrush and mouthwash. And yeah, cool. A girl's breast stinks, maybe you tell her. But I don't know if you have to necessarily tell her on national television. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, on camera.
Yeah, what I especially didn't
And there's like a language barrier going on.
Is he gives her lingerie as a present before he gave her the mouthwash and the scope and all that. So he was like, oh yeah, I got you this lingerie.
Lisette in the chat is saying there's a show called Love After Lockup, but I don't know about that one. We should have looked that one up.
So like,
yeah. Oh shit! Quarantine Kenny says Quarantine Kenny in the chat on YouTube. He says it reminds me of Jabba the Hutt scene. He does. Quarantine Kenny. I don't know how old you are, but when I show you who this guy looks like, who I thought this guy looked like, instantly when I saw him, you're gonna die laughing. So yeah, he was just super mean to this girl, and I'm like, bro, you're not attractive.
Look at these two together.
Yeah. And I'm not saying she's fucking Whoopi Goldberg or anything. But I'm just saying that this guy should be happy that this girl's being forced to spend a night in a hotel room with him.
Oh my God.
For a television show. But anyway, can I just show?
No, wait. But when they go into the hotel room, like when he goes to reserve or get into the hotel, he's like, oh, 2 beds. And they get to the room and she's like, oh, why do you want 2 beds? And he's like, oh, I want to take things slow. And when they do like the interview, he's like, yeah, like I don't know what I can expect from her. Like I want her to get an STD test. And I'm like, dude, it's the first day. You literally just met her. You're giving her lingerie, but then you're telling her you need an STD test?
It's not that it's a fat neck. He doesn't have a neck. Like, he doesn't have one. Let's show the other photo. This one right here. Like, he doesn't have a neck. Like, his shoulders are here. He doesn't have a neck. I mean, something must have happened to him because when he's up there, he has to, like, if you said, hey, he had to turn like this, so I don't know if they removed his neck.
I'm not for sure.
I'm not sure if they like, took his neck out.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have a neck. Can we just please show the world when I first saw this guy? Alright, so this is what this guy looks like. And this is the exact fucking thing I thought of. If you played with He-Man when you were a kid, that is what this guy looks like right there.
Let's go back.
It's the first thing I saw. It is him! Oh my God. If you guys play with He-Man, if you're old enough to remember He-Man, this guy squished down and then he shot back up. I think if you go one photo more, you can see him standing at full height.
Who, the...
Yeah, like, see that's him at full height, and then he would squish down.
Yeah, they had one where his neck would pop underneath,
Yeah.
and then it would pop back up, but, like, it didn't go higher. It just would go stretch down and then pop back up.
That's, I don't know, I'm sorry to make fun of if something happened to him, whatever, but that's what this guy looks like, man. That's him right there. That's him. Oh my God, man.
He was so mean to her. He was just a
Yeah, he was just a douche to her, and it's like, dude, honestly, you're not the catch of the day, bro. already you're weird looking, and I hate to say, people judge people by what they look like all the time. I don't care who you are, you do it all the time.
He was just ugly on the outside.
Yeah, so
on the
inside, like he was
made him even uglier on the outside.
I know people who are with people that are ugly, that are fucking handicapped, that everything. But if you're an ugly person too, like it just makes you like, you know, it just makes you.
You can always understand someone who's with someone who is a
like,
good person.
Yeah, like you could be anything, and if you're a good person, you could be attractive. You know, like there's actresses, for example, that are female comedians that aren't attractive, that I say are attractive because of their sense of humor and personality.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't even really want to say names because it'd be me publicly saying that they weren't attractive.
Yeah.
But like that's not the case necessarily. But
he needs to like take a shower. Like her breath may stink, but like she could use scope.
Yeah, I guarantee your neck thing stinks. That neck thing.
The neck
that's it right here. Go back. This right here. This part of him stinks more than her mouth has ever stunk. And she lives in a fucking shack.
I don't know.
But you don't say it's a shack.
But
it's okay to live in a shack.
Yeah.
Some people live in shacks.
Part of this show is like not only 90 Day Fiance, but they met online, and that's like another way people date. Is online dating.
Yeah, online dating. That's a good transition.
And then the thing is, like, you really don't know who you're talking to. Like, he was not anything what he was describing. And people of all ages online date. Like, my mom was telling me about her online dating experience. And, like, she first started telling me about this one guy. She's like, oh, he's in a foreign country. And I'm like, what country? Like, because I already know all the scams.
Yeah, is she from, is he a prince from Nigeria?
Yeah, like, and I'm like, oh, he has family in New York, but he's in another country. And his child is in New York. Yeah, that makes no sense. Like, are you in the military? Are you in the, are you like a United Nations member that you get to travel? Like, are you an ambassador? Like, why are you in another country? Were you raised there? Like,
I don't know. I've never been on one of those online dating apps or sites or whatever. But it is like isn't Facebook a dating site?
For some people, I'm
like for real though. Like,
yeah, I mean, I think
isn't Facebook a dating site with direct access to the person? Because how do the websites work? Do they have to like if you're hi, I'm Jen and this is my profile, can I hit you directly or do I have to like go through a middleman? Do I have to does the website send her a message?
Most websites they have like some like protection thing where it might go to your phone, but it's like through a third party type thing.
Okay.
To like protect both parties. There's probably chats in those apps. Like different, I don't know, I'm sure different dating apps you could direct, like DM them now. You can say DM, but basically before it used to be, I guess, an email. Now it's like almost like a text message.
Yeah. And
then like it goes from there.
But I can't okay, you're Jen. Does your it doesn't have your
notification,
email? Like, it doesn't have your email underneath.
Like some of them, it's like you instead of like a thumbs
Facebook
up on
is
Facebook,
straight up.
It's like
here's my dick.
A flirt.
Like Facebook is straight up. Here's my dick.
Like, well, you don't even have to go on the private part to see that. Like, some people just post that on their page.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not judging. Whatever you want to do with your whatever is your whatever. You know? Just don't tell me what to do. But,
shout out to everybody in the chat. Did you ever meet someone on Facebook?
I haven't met people on Facebook. I met people, like, online. I even met one of my very good, like, friends, like, girlfriends that, like, I chill with.
Scissor me timbers.
Not that kind of girlfriend.
Oh.
But there's nothing wrong with that either. I had just moved to New Jersey, and I was on mi gente, and she had just moved to New Jersey from Puerto Rico. And we were like, we love to go clubbing and dancing. And I was like, okay, like, I was out in Jersey, so, like, not a lot of my friends was going out to Jersey to, like, come pick me up and chill.
Shout out to Lisette.
So, what's up, Lisette? Go ahead.
She said we're all dating because we're on here, like, basically. And shout out to YD. Shout out to YD.
Lisette, is this our first date or our third date?
Shout out to yesterday. Go check them out. Go subscribe. So go ahead. Sorry.
No. So like we went to a club. Like we met at her brother's house, which is kind of like in between what we lived in New Jersey. And then we hung out, and we would go out clubbing all the time. We just had a good time. We just loved to dance and just like chill. We weren't the kind of girls that drank a lot. Again, I'm not judging, but I don't need alcohol or weed to like dance. I love to dance.
Yeah, like dancing is a drug to you.
Yeah, so like we would just love to go, and then we would have like 1 or 2 drinks. You know, you have 1 shot and maybe like 2 cocktails and be good. And at the end of the night, you go get something to eat at the diner or wherever. Maybe some guy tried to kick it to you while you were dancing, and you met him, and you like wanted to get his number, wanted to talk to him, whatever. That's how we met people. But with her, I met socially.
That's cool. I always thought that Facebook was different than most of these websites because it was like I always thought that Facebook was basically like a dating website that you could also bash Trump on.
But when Facebook started,
or spam your rap music.
It was never like that, so that was never my experience. Like maybe people were doing that.
No, but I'm just saying, like a girl posts a picture with her. Whatever. A girl posts a picture holding a pen, and she's just like, I got a pen. And guys will be like, I got a pen too. And they'll, you know what I'm saying? They'll just flutter with shit. And there's also those guys who are super forward on Facebook. They'll just fucking go and inbox a girl. Don't even care. Like, don't even consider that this girl might screenshot that and put it on her Facebook wall. You know what I mean? But
giving people ideas.
My worst favorite people on Facebook. Sorry to dip into Facebook and dating, but my worst people on Facebook are the white knights. A girl will post a picture of her and her pen, and there'll be a bunch of guys, and they'll be like, oh yeah, you know, I got a pen, and there'll be those guys who will be like, hey man, she's a pretty girl. She's a woman. She's a nice lady. You shouldn't be talking to her like that. And they want to fuck her too. Their angle is.
Everybody wants to fuck.
Their angle instead of saying, hey, look at my pen, it looks like a dick. Their angle is to try to be nice to her.
But at the same time,
to fuck her. So like,
it
they're
just
still trying to
depends
fuck
on
her.
the lady. Like it just depends on the lady because there's people who post pictures like that and they want the attention, and that's cool. And there are others that do that and they don't want that kind of attention. And you just gotta deal with both sides. It's just like if you were out in the streets and some guy tried to holler at you, or you were in the coffee shop and this guy was like politely trying to tell you that he finds you attractive and would you want to sit down and have your coffees together. It depends. It always depends on like what you like and what you're attracted to. Yeah. Because if someone does that to you who you are attracted to, whether it's their personality, the way they look, what have you, you're going to be more open and accepting of however they come to bring it. Unless it's something like truly revolting or offensive to you.
I think the way you never really show, it doesn't work all the time, but most of the time you never really show a girl you're really that into her completely. You always kind of make her wonder. She needs that something in her. Does he like me? Does he think I'm cute? Does he think I'm hot?
It's the 8th grade move where you pretend not to like her, but you stare at her all day long.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
It's fucking...
I never had that experience, and it didn't last years.
I think that goes into adulthood.
Creepy. Either make your move or don't be a creepy stare.
I think that goes into adulthood. I think a lot of girls need the validation. Oh, I am hot. I am hot.
Yes, but I also think if you're that guy that just like is continuously interacting with someone and just keeps doing like the ambiguous stare of like, oh, I'm kind of into you, but I just don't want to show you like that, and it's over and over, then you will kill that opportunity. Because that's just like...
Why that happens when you really...
You want to talk about the animal kingdom, then come and hunt, mother effer. Like, whether it's with your little non-disclosure agreement and your consent form,
oh my God.
Or however it is. Like, honestly, you don't know how a girl's going to like... Like, if I was single and somebody came up to me with a consent form, like, I don't know, I think I kind of feel weird about it. Be like, wait, what? Like, wait, what? You want me to sign this? Like, I could just tell you right now what's up. Like, I don't know. Again, but that's my experience because growing up, that's not how it worked. Like, you had to use your mouth and tell people.
Oh!
Boom, boom.
Okay.
You know, like, no, yes, get away from me.
But I
got mace.
My whole point was I just never really understood why people didn't consider Facebook a dating website.
I guess if you used it for dating, then it was a dating website.
That's what everybody uses.
No, when I started using Facebook, it was you could only have a Facebook account if you had a college.
Yeah, to hit on college
account.
guys.
Okay, no, it was social media. It was like, oh, these are the things that I'm doing now. I got onto it because my friend.
No, that's not true.
Oh,
I got onto it to put my music out.
She lived in one state, I lived in another.
My sister told me
it was like a great
about
way of like catching up with people who lived out, like necessarily picking up the phone and seeing what they were up to. You know, people you went to college, people who you were going to school with. You know, like when you went on break.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, that's true. Because when it first came out, that's true. I got it in 2008 when I moved back from California. My sister told me about it, and you had to be a college graduate.
Yeah, you had to have an EDU email account. I got it in 2007, and I was going to school in New England in Providence.
Pizza.
So that from Boston to Providence, like I would probably say we were probably one of the first schools that started getting into that. You know,
I just always thought it was dangerous to meet someone on the internet to create a relationship.
Honestly, it's dangerous to meet someone anywhere.
Yeah, but
go ahead.
You're right, it is. But okay, you can go
Like
into a bar, like she's saying, you can go into a bar and you could be charmed off your feet by a serial killer. You'll never even know. You know what I'm saying? But at least you walk into a bar and you're talking to that serial killer. He's really not an 85-year-old man saying he's a fucking 30-year-old serial.
Yeah.
You know, some guy. You know, you can get catfished on the internet. That's the crazy part. And people that are so lonely that get catfished blow my mind because this was like, you know what's going on here, right?
Like there's a lot of warning signs, especially people who have been doing it for years. With
I can chat all day, but I can't turn my phone around. I can't go like this.
I've been talking to you for 3 years, but I can't ever have met you. Like that's just
or seen your face. Like,
yeah.
Come on, man. Like that's someone who deep down knows they're being catfished, but they love the attention. And maybe, just maybe, that person, the real person, is cute too.
I think people have met online and like dated or what have you. You know what I'm saying? But like, I think it could be like when you meet someone at a bar and you exchange numbers and you start talking for a minute. Like that's what the internet can be. How far you want to take that talk before you meet the person depends on you. Like maybe you want to be sexting or whatever, and that's what you like and that's what you need. Or maybe you just get to know them and be like, all right, let's meet at a mutual place where it's public. Not too far from the police station. You know what I'm saying, ladies?
I just think it's much easier to do, much safer for a woman to do the first one, to meet someone out in real life, than it is to meet someone on the internet whose sole purpose is to hunt down people that they could.
That's not true because men are scared to approach women nowadays.
Yeah, well, yeah, I would be too. Honestly,
I'm not saying.
I'd be scared to approach a woman in today's climate.
It's also like how
hey, I think you're pretty.
A lady.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
You said I'm pretty. You just said that. You said I was pretty. I'm calling the police on you. Like that's where we are right now.
Yeah. I always like the excuse me, miss. At least you know.
Yeah, but now I hate to go on a tangent. But now it's the same thing. Excuse me, miss. I identify as he. Like it's been.
Dave, you can turn around. That's not your flavor.
It's just getting very dangerous and like you can't even like.
Well, no, thank you. I think every generation kind of knows how to approach that, right? Because I think like people in our generation would approach it one way, and people who are younger are growing up with consent and all of that, so that would be something that they are already accustomed to doing.
I mean, oh man, it's just, I mean, I don't have to deal with it, so I guess, what do I really care? But it just must be weird. I don't know, it must be weird. It's like you're getting in the moment. Like, all right, so you're on a date with a girl, your first date, you went to see a movie, you're fucking 13, she's sitting right here at the movie, and you're just like, and you know she's feeling you. You know what I mean? And you're feeling her, and it's like, what do I do? Do I say, hey, huh, what? Hey, I want to put my arm around you and give you a kiss. Like, no, you just do that shit. Like you know, when you feel it, you feel it. And yeah, if you go and she turns her head, then, you know, you don't try 16 more times. But, you know,
Some people
maybe she wanted to see that part. I'm gonna try it again. But I don't know, like it's gonna be weird.
It
for
sounds
kids.
like
This is the generation right now. Right now, like it's happening right now. These kids now, these are the first people that have to deal with this shit. And yes, I understand. Like, raping people is bad. Like, I get it.
I wasn't the first to say it.
Raping people is bad. Obviously, it's the worst thing. But just because you try to kiss a girl, that doesn't mean that you did anything to her. Like, I don't know. Like, it doesn't. You tried to kiss her. You didn't grab her and hold her face and be like, ugh. Like, you tried to kiss her. She said, "No, man, that's part of life. Rejection is part of fucking life."
Yeah, but I guess like that's also something that those two people now have to talk about. I guess like before it happens, like.
It's just a buzzkill. It's not, now you're playing double dutch. Oh, we talked about it. We talked about it, but we gotta talk about it right before. Like we're getting hot and heavy. We already talked about it.
Also, women, we're hormonal, so maybe we don't want you to kiss us right now. So I don't know. I guess the importance is having the opportunity to say no. Like,
and it's dangerous, like sleeping with girls. Like when you get to the next level because of what's going on today. And like I said, rape is terrible. When it happens, it's fucking horrible. But you can't sleep with a guy. Text him 500 times that you want to fuck him. Ask him if he has rubbers. Text your friends that you're going to fuck this guy. Go and fuck him consensually. And then the next day say, "Oh, he raped me." And then be like, "Oh, well, why?" And be like, "Oh, well, I was under the influence of alcohol." And people are like, "Oh." But that's the only situation where it matters. Like, you can't get in a car accident and kill someone and be like, "Well, it's not my fault. I was under the consent of alcohol."
So, sexing while
drinking
under the influence, or
like, why is it
or...
like, okay, like I get it. Like if you're like passed out and people take advantage of
so
it,
you think
that's a whole other thing. But if you're talking to this guy saying, "Hey, blah blah blah, I'm on my way over. I'm about to knock on your door. Send, boom, knock on the door," and then something happens. I mean, wasn't that consent?
Well, I hope that when
I'm just saying this because this was a big. This is a big.
Like, yeah,
what just happened? What I just described is a big case right now. What this happened. So I was just like, how is that not consent? She sent him a message, like right before they had sex.
Yeah, I guess like that's the problem in those cases. It's so hard because it's like, what you were feeling at the moment is what you decided, but like you were under the influence, so
was he.
Decided something else. Yeah, I don't know.
It's such a slippery slope because the story could very well be even worse. So in her favor.
So what do you want?
What I'm saying?
Now I guess you gotta ask for permission. Like I guess that
how much time until like while you're having sex? Like every thrust,
maybe
every thrust I have to go in. That's cool. Out. In. Are we still good? Out. That's basically what.
Oh my God! I'm hoping it's like, hey, we're good, all right. Like you just give me a wink, and I know that's all that you want, and then I'll give you a wink back, and that means we're good. And if I'm not winking at you, then whatever you're doing is not cool. Like, I don't know. I don't know. But, like, just how you decide in a relationship. Like.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I don't know, but it's just something that I found interesting. I don't know. Like, it's.
I don't know. I think, like, again, just like anything.
You can't willingly have sex with someone, wake up the next day and be like, "Oh my God, I fucked this ugly dude," and then ruin his life.
So, like, buyer's remorse.
Yeah, you can't ruin someone's life because you made a.
I 100% agree that you should not be ruining anybody's life if you basically made a choice to do what you were going to do, and then now you're just embarrassed about the choice you made.
Okay.
Like, you have to live with that.
And
you should live with that choice. It could be in your closet way deep down. You don't have to make a big deal.
Here's another one on the
crazy shit to ruin people's lives.
On the other. Yes, on the other.
Now, if you got raped, that's a whole other story.
Yeah. Okay, so you're texting.
All the noise.
You're texting your guy. "Oh, I'm gonna come have sex with you. Oh, I'm right here. I'm right here. I'm gonna have sex with you. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, we're gonna have so much sex. Boom, boom, boom. Send." And then he opens the door and says, and tries to make out with you. And then you say, "I changed my mind." Then now he's in the wrong. Like he can't go try to reconvince you. To, you know what I'm saying? To get back in the mood. But
I don't know. I think couples do try to.
But if you don't say anything, and then the next day You have sex and all this shit, and then you sleep.
That's
there,
true, because
and
I'm
you
sure
have
that's
fucking-
happened to a lot
and
of
you
couples.
you have Honey Nut Cheerios in the morning, and then you
And
go
you're
home,
like-
and your friend's like, "You fucked Timmy? What?" And then you go, "Oh, I mean, no, that's not cool, man. That's you ruin someone's life. That's some terrible shit. Like that's some shit, and that's why so much shit happens to women that really happens to them, and people don't believe them.
Yeah.
They'd be like, "Oh, well, what were you wearing?
Wolf.
What were
it
you
comes
doing
to
though?
it.
Like, oh, the guy raped you in an alley. Why were you in the alley?
That's fucked up.
Like that kind of shit. Like that's
Don't do
you know
that.
what I'm saying? Yeah.
But don't cry wolf. That's not cool.
It takes away from the women that really need you to listen to what they're saying.
Yeah, and their experiences, and it takes away from that. And then that's, you're not having accountability for your actions. Again, if you want to sleep with men, that's cool. Like, not judging you. But to regret something and then say that to someone, and that's a lot.
And then there's all these people who don't come forward because of, shout out to JG Laboratory in the chat. I don't know, I just be nice to each other, I guess, sexually. And we won't have to ask on every insertion if I'm okay. Oh, well, she was okay with the first 36 pumps. Somewhere around the 37th pump, she didn't like it, and then she liked it again at the 40s.
Listen, can we not, I know everyone thinks that this is not my topic of choice. I think
moving on.
this was supposed to be the dating one, and
No,
we went way.
We got on to date rape. But yeah, go. Let's get back to it. Show the guy's neck. Get everyone back in here. If you show the guy's neck, it'll. JG says we are all complicated.
Like super. Demasiado. Hold on. I'm gonna go back to this other thing so I can find the pictures. So if you missed our last episode, we did a super in-depth episode on the 90s. We went 3.5 hours on it. We're not going 3.5 hours today, but we went 3.5 hours on the 90s, and we covered everything. Indo Joe 710 on Instagram, Chef Tanya, Nicole on Instagram, and Myster DL on Instagram. Henny God's back. What do you say, man? I said I like how you have to think about it.
What, my Instagram?
Yeah.
Well, I always forget if you're Chef Tanya or Chef Tanya Nicole, but you're Chef Tanya.
Chef Tanya Nicole.
So we just want to show this guy's neck again before we move on. Shout out to the Henny God in the chat on YouTube. The right place to be with the eighth of weed. I don't even know if we're on Facebook anymore.
But we're on YouTube.
We're on YouTube. Shout out to our first review, I guess, just came through on my chat for the Make 'em Pay album. I can't Make 'em Pay album, but this is my album. And Make 'em Pay's album together. It's called The Cost, and if you share this YouTube link and let everyone know we're live, you can win either this or you can win one of these marijuana pins.
Put that up.
What happened?
I said I can put it up.
Oh, nice. Oh, here, put the pins up real quick. You can win one of these pins here. They're made out of modeling clay. You could just stick it into your backpack or whatever. And then the Make 'em Pay album. We'll pick a couple winners tonight. 13 tracks, all produced, mixed, mastered by me. I did the cuts and the artwork. And that's me right there. The handsome one. Right there. Boom. So here we go. Here we go. Alright, what's the next subject? We'll smoke one more joint.
Oh. Sorry guys, I know y'all don't want us to make.
What's the next subject? Do you think?
I think you have the next one.
I did?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think so.
Do you remember? I have another game show.
Really? What's the game show?
Remember Blind Date?
No.
That was another MTV show.
Blind Date. I don't remember that one.
So there were a bunch of people that you could possibly date on a bus.
On a bus? I don't know this one.
And you would start.
Does anybody know Blind Date? Hit us up in the chat.
You would start with one person, and then if you weren't feeling them at any time in the date, they would take her away and bring a different girl, and you would finish that date or whatever you were doing. And there were like three stages. So whoever they ended up being with at the end, that's who they went on another date with. So that it was called Blind Date. Oh no, that's not blind date. I think that was next, actually.
She doesn't even know.
Yeah. Marijuana affects the brain.
Marijuana affects memory. Doo-doo-doo.
Yes, that was called Next. My bad. My bad.
Next, I don't know that one.
Next.
Next?
But yeah. Yes, next.
I don't know. Does anyone remember that one? I don't remember that.
Bring it up now.
Shout out to Henny
I'm
Guy. He
going-
gave you a shout out. Gave me a shout out in the chat on
What
YouTube.
if any guy?
Make sure you like the video, subscribe, and share it. That'd be awesome. So what we got?
Here we go. Yeah, it was definitely called Next.
I just thought the dating games. I just thought that was a great topic. The evolution of them.
Yeah, look at this. Zach, 25, nicknamed
That's not
Junior,
up there.
caught naked by his best friend's mom, made out with his girl while his dad was driving. These are like the little things, the blurbs that they would put up before like they would come and start the first part of the date. And then if that's a guy, if she wasn't feeling him and she was like, next, another guy would come off the bus. This guy looks like a douchebag.
What do you guys think dating is gonna be like during Corona? Like if this continues, like how do you meet someone? All you single, all you tinking ladies, how do you meet somebody?
I think I was telling all my single friends that it's probably good right now. Because think about it this way. You could video chat or whatever, or talk via text or however way you want to communicate. And then all this time, you're figuring out, do I like this guy's personality? Like, I've been talking to him for 1 week, 2 weeks. Like, if you make it past 2 weeks, like, that's good right there. If you can actually talk to someone, see how they're acting, because you're still not going to be able to meet them. And if you do, you have to be social distance. So there's no pressure of, like, sex.
It's easy to ghost.
Like, it's mad easy to ghost. You'd be like, you know what?
I got Corona.
You're hella annoying. Like,
I got Corona.
bye.
It's the best ghost excuse ever. I got Corona, and I just can't. And even on the internet, I don't want you to get the
Roll
virus.
some balls and just be like, I'm really not feeling you. Cool.
Sometimes, I would more often than not say that. But sometimes a girl is so nice or so sweet, or you're just like, and you know she really likes you, that you don't really want to say that. You just
I don't
just
like
say,
you.
I'm going to war.
So what you're telling me is it's
shipping off.
easier to tell a girl I'm going to war. How fucked up is the man brain? Then I am not feeling you. I don't like you like that.
And
We could just be
Okay.
friends.
You don't
but
wanna-
I don't want to hang out with you.
you don't
or
want to burn.
follow you.
Then
Okay?
I guess you don't. Some guys, I guess, they wouldn't want to burn possible.
burn the bridge.
Burn a booty call.
You want to keep the door open? Then say that. Be like, listen, where I'm at right now, this wouldn't work out. But if you want to be on a physical level, then I'm all for it. And again, choices. Like, just be upfront. But then again, I feel you, because some girls will go psycho. I'm just not that girl.
But some
I'm
girls,
just not that girl,
some
but-
girls are. Some girls are, I'm sure a guy too. You know, a guy's really nice. You're just not feeling him, and you don't want him to go hang himself from the fucking bridge.
Yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And you'll just be like, you know what? I'm
actually-
going to war.
I'm not that person.
You never went to war.
Especially if you're like
You
a
went to
nice
war.
guy, and I feel like you're gonna turn clingy.
You went to
Because
war.
I'll be real nice until you start turning a little bit psycho, and then I show you I watch murder porn. I watch Dayline NBC. You are not getting me.
I watch a
Nuh-uh.
different kind of murder porn.
No, sorry. That's when I tell you, if you show up anywhere, I'm getting that restraining order. That's right. Yeah, I do have 911 on speed. Yep. No, I'm not meeting you nowhere at your house, or no, I'm good.
Quarantine Cody says a man who burns all his bridges lives on an island.
Well, I hope there's some bikini models there.
That's a good one. That's funny.
But yes, like, no, that's the thing. If I'm going to be someone who goes out there and puts myself out there in whatever format, and I'm a single woman, I have to be able to defend myself in case some shit happens. At least for me. Like, if I ever went on a date anywhere, I would at least tell someone where I was going, who I was with, like, how I met them, like, just like, because if, again, Dayline NBC, if you gotta come looking for me, you got at least a place to start. aka the first 48. If you're a single lady and you know what I'm talking about, watch yourself some Law and Order, the Special Victims Unit, not that other shit. Don't be that girl walking down New York City at 2 o'clock in the morning looking at her phone and then you get, you know what I'm going to say, and kidnapped. Don't be that girl.
We're gonna ban the word.
Yeah.
Ban the word from the podcast.
But I'm just saying, like, I for me, I knew, like, okay, if I'm going here, do I have mace? Like, what can I say if I get caught with a knife? Because you can't carry a knife in New York, so you gotta have something like a box cutter because you're an artist. Yeah, you can't be carrying no knife.
Really?
Yes. So, like, you have to, like, know stuff like that, you know, and be able to, like, figure out, okay, if something goes down, what's my plan? You know, you never know. I mean, luckily, I if I ever sent something, I was out before anything bad could happen to me. You know, be like, yeah, this date is over. Like, I'm not staying here. Especially if I get the you're a weird guy vibe. I don't need to stay. I'm out. And that's the thing. It's like, if you're okay with meeting a stranger, then it's a stranger. So fuck it. So what if he gets pissed off that you left? Who cares?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not worried about your feelings, or my life. Peace, dude. Like, you know what I'm saying?
People get themselves into, not even just women, just everyone, people in
general. Listen to your instincts, people.
Get themselves into some fucked up situation.
Looks like a nice guy, but you're getting the heebie-jeebies. Déjalo quieto. Leave him alone.
All right, this isn't a multi-language podcast.
Yes, it is. And if you don't know what that means, look it up. Ask your Latina or Latino friend or your neighbor. I'm sure you have one somewhere. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of us.
Where are you watching from? Shout out to Quarantine.
Yeah, let us know. What do you guys think?
Cody. I always say
some dating stories. Some date stories. Like, hook us up. What about you? Best, worst date? Worst date? Funny date? Weird date?
Oh, man. Me?
See? Boom.
I dated a girl. I was a landscaper at the time, and this girl, she worked at the liquor store where I landscaped it. And
he was a landscaper.
Escaping that land, I was. And nothing ever happened between us, but we went out a couple times, 3 times or something. Just like out real quick, like on lunch or something like that. And a week had passed since we were talking, and I remember we were like at lunch together. And I told her, I said, I don't know your name. And she was like, excuse me? I was like, I never got your name. You just came up to me and started talking, and then we just went into this huge conversation. Like, you already knew my name.
How did she already know your name, but you didn't know her name?
Because I worked in the plaza, and she probably asked somebody. Because everybody knew me because I worked doing the landscaping there. And whatever, we went out a couple times, just like nothing really even happened. But I'm just saying, I remember being at lunch with her, and I thought she was cool, but I was like, I don't know your name, and then she was like, you forgot my name, and then I explained to her the whole story about like what happened, and that's exactly how it happened. She came up and she's like, hi, David, right? And I was like, yeah, and then she started talking like a girl, and it didn't stop.
Like a girl.
You know what I'm saying? And I just remember being like, man, how am I gonna bring this up? I knew instantly I didn't know her name as soon as she walked away. I didn't know her name, but I was like...
how'd you let it go on for a week,
I didn't see her for like 2 days, and then I think... it's all coming back to me. Like, I saw her like 2 days later, and like I was in a rush doing something for work, and I was like, oh, hey, how you doing? Blah, 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 blah. And then the next time we saw her was at lunch again, and I never was like, hey, but I just never was. And then it was one of those things that just kept getting worse and worse as... and I just said to her...
So,
I said, I don't know your name, and it wasn't even like a diss to her or anything. I was just being genuine. I didn't know.
It's a diss because you waited all that time.
It's
not like a diss to her.
And
yes,
you know what the worst part is? I never learned her name.
He went. Don't hit the play.
She didn't like that I didn't know it, and I think maybe.
Oh, you think?
I think maybe she was embarrassed, maybe that I didn't know it. I'm not sure, but I remember that. Saying, I don't even know your name, and it was just so funny. That was like one of my, like, it's so random, but it was just one of my funniest date stories. Like, I didn't know this girl's name at all. Like, I was like, and I knew I didn't know it the whole time, and so much time had been going on that I was like, oh my god, I don't even know how to ask this girl what her name is. And I asked a friend of mine who worked in the store next to her, like, you know that girl's name? I was like, no. Fuck.
I don't understand. Like,
That's I don't know. I thought that was fun.
so what were you calling her the whole time, that whole week?
Nothing. I was going.
How would you address her?
I was going. Yeah. And she was going.
So you never started a conversation. You were never had to like call her attention.
No, I don't think so. It was like it might even been like before cell phones and all that shit. So I don't. It's
What
it's
about
hazy
you guys?
because it's
What
so
are they saying?
it's so long ago. But it's a little hazy. But I know 100%. I never knew her name, and I told her, and she like, well, what else you got?
I don't think I can't even top that. Like, well, that's crazy.
I don't think it's crazy.
I have great stories.
Well, tell me.
Yeah, great horror stories. I was dating this guy, and he knew that I was a chef. So he's like, "Oh, I want you to come over, and like I'm gonna cook you dinner." And he's like, "Well, what do you want?" And I'm like, "Oh, you can make me anything. I'm not a picky eater." So we go to the grocery store, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna pick up some steak and some ice cream." So I'm like, "Okay." Like I'm thinking, like, okay, like he must have other sides and other things there, right? Like we're not just gonna eat that. So he goes upstairs and he cooks whatever. And I was sitting on his bed because he had two TVs.
She's going there.
I was sitting on his bed, and he had two TVs, one in the living room, which wasn't working, and the other one in his bedroom. So he's like, "Oh, you ready to eat?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So I'm thinking I'm gonna get up, right, and go to like the part of the house that has like a table and shit. He's like, puts a towel down on the bed, and then gives me this huge plate with just this like steak on it, and nothing else, and like the utensils. Like I'm supposed to eat on the bed.
Oh, jeez.
I call that story "Steak on a Towel."
So.
And I was like, "Oh, this was the best part." I was like, "Oh, where's your steak?"
Where's the ice cream? Where's the ice cream?
Well, that was later. But he was like, I was like, "Where's your steak?" He goes, "Oh, I already ate it, because you like your steak like medium well, and I like mine rare, so I already ate mine upstairs while yours was cooking."
Ugh.
I was like, "What is wrong with people? Like, how is that even romantic? Like, what do you guys think? Like, what is going on?" Abba, a man who burns his bridges is forced. Oh, we already.
No,
know
that's
that.
a new one.
My bad. JG
No, that's
Laboratory.
That's a new one.
Oh.
Because this was his.
Forced to build his own path. Let me, because I'm stuttering. A man who burns his bridges is forced to build his own path.
That's a good
from
one.
Abba.
So right before that, we already said quarantine Cody's. He said a man who burns all his bridges lives on an island. We're getting real.
Philosophical.
Deep. Yeah, philosophical.
JG Laboratory says, didn't get to date much. I was a dad at 17.
Ouch.
Single for about 3 years and then met my wife, so 15 years strong now.
That's good. That's good. 15 years. That's good.
That's good. That's like my sister and her husband. They were together for like 11 years. Dated, I think, since around the time they were like 18. And then they've been married for at least another 10. So they've been together for over 20 years.
That's awesome.
So those are little Cinderella stories, I call them.
Yeah.
Those are not, what is it called? That's not the rule. It's the exception. All right, ladies? So it ain't just the first guy you meet is going to be Prince Charming. I don't know if you know that. You might get lucky, but you might not.
Any, what else you got?
I don't know.
I think that's good.
That's
I think we
pretty much
killed it.
it. I mean, we could go on and on,
Yeah, we could.
but I guess we're not.
I don't know. I think
we're good.
Yeah, I think that was fun. I think,
He doesn't want to talk about that stuff.
No, we can talk about whatever. I just, I see that we're in here. We got some more chats coming in.
Let's see. JG Laboratory says she was locked out her car and I was the only one to get her in.
Oh, man.
Back in the day in your old Eureka hood, DL.
Oh, really?
Eureka.
That's awesome. I had 2 of my own houses in Eureka. I didn't own them. I lived in two different houses. And then I lived in Cutton, if you know where that is in Eureka, obviously, if you live there, with Garth. And then also lived in Cutton with Swizz. And then I had a girlfriend at the time who lived in Eureka by Sequoia State Park. So I had 5 places in Eureka. It was kind of crazy. What's this?
Let's see. Abba says, "Is that ganja out in the open?"
It's not out in the open, but it's
I'm like,
It's
which
jarred
one?
up.
This
This
one
one
over
right
here.
we got some ganja. We got some ganja.
It's in the mason jar,
We got some ganja.
so it seals the oxygen in, and we don't let it hit light because you don't want that.
So it's lit up right now because it looks cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, make sure everybody sees the sea of green. Hell yeah.
absolutely.
That's
It's
it.
on the YouTube channel Ill Mannered Films, which you're watching now.
So yeah, make sure you guys subscribe. I mean, I'm pretty sure you are. Like our page.
Absolutely. You can also catch us in The Weekend Warriors, and that's on Amazon Prime. You can watch the whole season, and we're just finishing up the editing for season 2. We have The Cost with Make 'em Pay and Myster DL. A lot of good features on that, including Term. Shout out to Term.
Rex.
Shout out to Rex.
Big Shug.
Number 12 is my favorite.
Number 12, yeah? Okay.
Favorite.
Yeah. Thanks for
Love
watching. Our next episode is going to be all about the 80s.
The 80s.
So stay tuned. Thank you guys so much.
Nicole, Myster DL.
Mind Your Manners Podcast,
Mind Your
episode
Manners
7.
Podcast. Have a great night, everybody.
Peace.
See you next time. Like and subscribe. Hit